Today is about spreading joy. And we have one of our longest veteran clients, Dylan Martman. He'll always be at True Wellness longer than Sarah, but Dylan, Sarah's shaking her head. So Dylan, we've known him and his family since he was 10. He is now 24. So for 14 years. And, everybody back in the day used to get referred to us by somebody else. And so we've known Dylan and his family for years. We actually consider them part of our family. And somewhere down the road, we started meeting the Eckhard family, and we met the sister and the brother and the mom, and we met all these Eckhards. And then all of a sudden, this wonderful woman, Sarah entered, and we started working with Sarah for a couple of years. And at one point, we were dealing with that's not how it happened. She came to us having had some traumas in her life, blah, blah, blah. She's working through that. Part of her issue is opening her heart. And for those of you who know Sarah, she has absolutely opened her heart. She is one of the most heartfelt, authentic practitioners that we've ever had the privilege of having at True Wellness. And at one point, she was doing a lot of emotional work with Ian, and she was sitting on my table at one point. She goes, "Well, I got something to tell you." And I was like, "Okay, what?" And she goes, I'm dating somebody, and you know him. And I was like, "How do I know him? Like, you live in Lambertville, New Jersey, like an hour from us. I am like 23 years older than you. How the heck do I know the person that you're dating?" She goes, "Well, it's Dylan Mortman." And I was like, "What? How do you know Dylan?" It literally never dawned on me that the way Sarah got to us was because Dylan's mom and Sarah's mom knew each other. And that's how I met Sarah's whole family, was through Dylan's mom. And that was how many years ago?
Probably 6 years ago.
Yes.
That I started coming. You probably met my sister, who was the first one that came maybe 8-9 years ago at this point.
Yeah, because she was over at 577 office. I remember. So Sarah and Dylan have had an amazing, coming together. It's been, for me, and I'm sure for Ian, I'm putting words into his mouth, but it's like when you're two, not that they're incestual, but when your two family members start to get together, you're just like, "Oh my God, that's so awesome," because I love their family. I love their family. That's such a beautiful communion. And I found it hysterical that it was kind of like a match up by their moms. Their moms are like, "You two need to meet."
Yeah.
So give creds to the moms.
Yeah, I mean, my mom was telling me that I had to meet her while I was still dating my previous ex-girlfriend. She was like showing me this girl's Instagram. I'm like, "Mom, this is like kind of weird right now."
So we have a little story to tell, because both Sarah and Dylan have lived a bioregulatory lifestyle, and they really embody that in every way, from the essential oils behind them in their home to, doing, if you watch any Instagrams and follow Sarah, they're constantly doing acro yoga together. And they love hiking together. They love traveling together. They love being together. They have traveled down to South Carolina together with us. And, Sarah's part of my family. Dylan's part of my family. So I just love that they've come together. But we have a little journey to tell you. And so, Sarah, take it away.
Oh, okay. So I was in Spain, probably only like a month before I left. I just needed to travel. It had been a very long time for everyone. And I decided to book a trip to Barcelona. And I booked the trip alone because I like to travel alone. And I love to travel with Dylan, but it had been, obviously, since we hadn't traveled for 2 years, it had been so long that I was kind of like, okay, I need 10 days to myself. I need to go to a different country. I need to work that muscle again. So I booked the trip. I ended up leaving for Barcelona, and I had like 8 glorious days walking around the city and going to the beach and the mountains. And then from home, Dylan started texting me these locations to check out in the city. He was like, "I really think that you should go to this park." It's a beautiful park. It's an old labyrinth park. It's one of, I think, the oldest parks in the city, or the second oldest. And I think that you would love it. And I talked to, he was telling me he was trying to like buy me a ticket virtually, and talking to the park coordinators and trying to get me there so that I could see these performers that were coming. He was like, there's performers, but I want to keep it a surprise. I don't want to tell you what they are or what they're doing. I just think that it's right up your alley. I thought it was like Cirque du Soleil in the middle of the park, or acrobats or something. So he said like they're at like between 12 and 2 on Saturday. So if you can go, great. And I was like, yeah, all right, I have no plans. I have nothing to do. I'll go to the park. So I made my way to the park and through the labyrinth, which took a while. And I got out of the labyrinth and started walking up these steps to go to the rest of the park. And I heard this, we do camp a lot together, and he has taught me this like call that we're supposed to do. I mean, we use it a lot, honestly, but it's supposed to be like, if you get lost, it like bellows through the woods so you can find each other.
Cool.
Yeah. And I heard that, and it was so, I remember just like freezing and kind of going like, someone else must know that. That's super weird that someone else knows that call. And I just kind of like casually turned around and he was standing there on the other side of the steps, just looking at me, kind of wiggling. Go from here.
Yeah, I almost want to rewind. Should I
Well, yeah, he
continue
has a
from
very
here?
different series of events.
Yeah, so that's a good place to stop. So all she knows at this point, and I think probably people are kind of catching on to where this is headed, but anyway, it's all good. Stay with the story. So Dylan has organized a lot of stuff to get to the point where he can surprise Sarah that he's standing in the middle of Spain without her knowledge on her journey by herself. So tell us how you got there, Dylan.
It all started with a plan that I think I made within the first week of knowing Sarah. And you can talk to Elise. Elise is one of her like childhood friends that like I pulled on the side, and I was like, this is what's gonna happen one day. I might need your help. I sadly did not use Elise for help, but I was able to pull it off on my own. But no, yeah, something that I found very attractive about Sarah was her like strong independence. So I really loved the fact that she was confident enough, strong enough to travel to all these different countries by herself. So it's something that I wanted her to continue doing, like even, you know, being in a relationship. Obviously, I like to travel as well, but I really appreciated that, and I found that very attractive. So yeah, I mean, we dated for a long time, and then literally like, I think I went to bed at like 10 o'clock, like kind of like a normal-ish time. I think Sarah stayed up to like 1 a.m. a random night. I woke up the next morning and Sarah told me like, I'm going to Barcelona. So there was no like, I'm thinking about it, I'm planning, just like I woke up one morning and she's like, I'm leaving in a month and a half to Barcelona. And the plan that I made the initial week was that I was going to surprise her on one of her solo trips to propose. Oh, I don't know if I just ruined the story right there.
No,
but
everybody knew that's where it was headed, but it's
yeah.
what's beautiful is he knew, right? Their mothers knew that they should be together. Then he's with her for only a week, and he already knows that this is the woman that he wants to marry.
No, yeah. So
But he kept telling her, as they talked about throughout the years, I'm just going to interject because I know this point.
oh yeah, you know this.
He was like, well, you know, I'll propose when it's right. And she's like, well, he's like, you have to do something before I'll propose. And for years she kept going, I made you pancakes and breakfast. Was that it? With like, I did this. Is this it? And she kept like, what do I have to do to get you to propose at some level? So enter, I'm going to Barcelona by myself.
No, yeah, the thing was something that she already does. Like I loved her the way she is, you know? And yeah, she tells me she's going to Barcelona. I'm freaking out because like I know that like she's a very special woman. She deserves like a special ring. So like I wanted to like custom make a ring from scratch. And a month and a half is a very short period of time to get a ring in. So I'm like talking to all these different people. Long story short, I eventually found one that said it was going to come a couple days after she got home. And I was like, okay, like, I guess I'm going to have to wait for the next trip, which also made me realize how much more I wanted to propose because I was like, I don't want to wait 2 more years or whatever, like until she takes her next big solo trip. But yeah, the ring ended up coming, I think Thursday, like pretty late in the day Thursday. So I woke up Friday, bought a ticket.
I gotta buy a plane ticket to Barcelona.
No, yeah, Friday, which is the day that I was leaving. I woke up, I bought a ticket for Friday night. I was landing Saturday morning. So I bought the ticket. I was also going to a convention the day that I came back, so I had to like make sure that my flights to Vegas once we got back home were in order.
All about the flow state. All about the flow state. He just kept going. He knew what the intention was. He followed his heart, and the ring showed up early, which made him go, can I coordinate to fly to Barcelona on a Friday and then fly to Vegas on a Sunday for a convention I have to be at? And oh, by the way, can I be there in the 2-hour time frame that I told Sarah to be at this Labyrinth Park on Saturday?
No, yeah. And then even on that Friday, like, I think I convinced her, like I heard like she's such a free spirit that she like, I think solidified the idea of going to the park that Friday. So like that day I woke up, I bought the ticket. I wasn't 100% sure if she was actually gonna like take the bait. So that Friday I bought the ticket. I found out that she was actually gonna be in the area where I like needed her to be, so that I wasn't just roaming around Spain trying to find her. And then I was also able to book the photographer, like all within before getting on my plane and taking off. So yeah, Friday hopped on a plane. Saturday, because of the whole COVID testing thing, I had to like schedule a test to come back home. So I went like straight from the plane, got my test, went straight to the park and met the photographer. We like set up, tried a few different angles. We found like where we were gonna pop the question. And then it was actually pretty funny because we were high enough that we were able to see into the labyrinth. So we just got to see Sarah like go back and forth, like trying to figure her.
It was a hard labyrinth. It was no joke.
Yeah, it's like one of the oldest gardens in Spain or something, and it's like famous for its.
And it's
labyrinth.
a great analogy for them finding their way to each other.
No, yeah, it worked out. So because
She had a lot of hard work to get to Dylan. Let's be honest, Dylan didn't have to work that hard. Dylan didn't have to go through as much trauma as Sarah did to open his heart. He's been open-hearted since I've met him when he was 10. He's very in touch with himself, and he loves Sarah. There's no doubt about it. And Sarah loves him, which was obvious, but it was really, when you told me the story about the labyrinth, that's what got me. It was like, oh, Sarah had to journey through. It was a struggle. And he was just like, here's my call. Did you hear me? And so she heard the call. She walked to the top of the steps, and there are beautiful pictures. And did she say yes?
Yeah, thank God.
That would be super awkward.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I had my solo trip, and I really would have loved to have been on the trip with him. And if I had taken a trip alone more recently, I probably would have invited him, which apparently it wouldn't have happened then if I invited him. But I got like the best of both worlds. I got like 8 or 9 days completely alone, which is exactly what I needed. And then I had like day and a half of exploring around with him. And yeah, it was a very crazy ending.
Yeah,
and I got to
awesome.
come home and surprise all of you.
Yeah. And her ring is emerald green, which is the color of the heart chakra, which is very, very appropriate. And we just wish you all the best in your journeys together now, walking the labyrinth together, navigating it all, and stay within the flow state. And we pray that this spread a little joy in everybody's life. It caught you all up to what's happening for the family, the extended family of True Wellness. And living in the flow state allows all the great things in your life to easily come to you without much work at all. And that's what Dylan really magnified through this process. The day Sarah told me, as soon as I left the office, I instantly called his mom. I was like, oh my God, Zoo, this is so amazing. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh, it's so incredible. And look at how far they have come and how much on the path they really are, because this was so easy in so many ways for this to just unfold as the flower does without effort. It's beautiful. You guys really can really be a great calm in the storm for so many people in regards to your relationship, your love, and your ability to see the other person and love them for who they are. And I appreciate both of you tremendously.
Yeah, thank you. Much love for you as well.
Have a great day, everybody.